Hi everyone. Welcome to the InkSoft training webinars. My name is Christian, and in this webinar we'll cover stores and the Rapid Product Creator, or RPC. Online stores are the #1 way that users generate sales in InkSoft, and there are many different ways to utilize them. They can also be leveraged as an excellent marketing tool for your business. Stores can be built to sell pre-decorated products, and they can also be configured to allow customers to decorate blank products themselves with the Designer tool. For this webinar, we'll primarily focus on building and selling pre-decorated products in stores. Let's start with the different store types in InkSoft. I'm here in the dashboard of my admin portal, and you can see that my account already came with a store named after my company. This type of store is called a web store, and it is now considered a legacy store in the platform. Legacy just means that this type of store has been around for a long time in InkSoft, but there is a new, updated version of the online stores available now, and it's simply called Store. This is the type of online store we'll be focusing on, and really the only type of store you should be using in the platform going forward. This web store does need to remain active and in the account, but even though we'll be keeping it around, we won't really be using it. To begin creating one of the new stores, I'll navigate to the Web Stores drop-down menu in the Admin Portal navigation bar. Here, I'll choose Create New. I'm now prompted to select the type of online store I wish to build, so I'll ignore these legacy store options and choose the New Store option, since these stores are more versatile and robust. When I click Create, I'm immediately taken to the Store Builder. This is a guided experience that will walk me through configuring the essential settings for my store, so I can establish it in my account and then continue working on it afterwards. I'll start by giving my store a name, and it will also need a directory name. This populates automatically as I enter my store name, but I can change it if I want to. The directory name is what customers will see in the web address for the store. When I'm ready, I'll click Next. In the top left corner of my screen, I can see a list of steps I'll be completing as I build my store. I can jump to the next step or go back to any step I've already completed if I need to. On the right, I have an option to save my progress and exit the store builder. If I click on this, I'll be taken to the dashboard in my admin portal, and I can see that I now have a store that is in the process of being built. This is a great option if you need to step away from the store builder for a moment and you don't want to lose any of your work in building that store. You can then continue the setup at any time and pick up where you left off, or you can delete the store in progress if you no longer need it. Let's continue the setup for my store. The next step is to choose the privacy setting for my store. Public means that as long as the customer has the web address for the store, they can go to the store and immediately begin shopping. If I set my store to private, then the customer can still visit my store as long as they have the web address, but once the site loads, they will first be prompted to enter a store password before they can begin shopping. Keep in mind that all of the settings we are configuring in the store builder experience can be changed again later if needed. If you're building a store for one of your clients, they may need to have their store configured in a very specific way, so you'll want to work closely with them and review the store settings to make sure everything is set up to fit their needs. I'll make my store public and continue to the next step. For the store contact info, almost all of this information is required to be filled out, but the first and last name info will not be displayed to the customer. In regards to which contact info needs to be used here, that will really be up to you and your client. In some cases, your client may want customers to see their information when they reach out. In other cases, you may want to display your company's info, especially if you need to address customer questions regarding orders. Again, you can fill this out with some contact info for now in order to complete the step, and it can always be updated later if needed. Next is store branding, and this is where I can upload a logo for my store if I have one. There is also an option to upload a store icon, also known as a favicon. and an option to upload a store preview image that will be displayed if my store is shared on social media. All of these are optional, including the store logo. If a store logo is not uploaded, InkSoft will automatically display the store's name in plain text. I'll go ahead and just upload a store logo for my store now, and I can come back to these settings again later if needed. Next, the store builder is asking me if I wish to add the designer to my store. If I choose yes, then the next step will walk me through configuring some of the settings for the designer. If I choose no, I can always decide to add the designer to my store later. I'll choose no for this example, since we'll primarily be focusing on pre-decorated products for this webinar. We'll cover the designer options in another video. Now I need to choose my production schedule for the store. If I'm producing or fulfilling orders in my store as they come in, then I can set the production schedule to on demand. However, if I instead need to take pre-orders and the products will be produced at a later time, then I can set my production schedule to a specific date of my choosing. This can also be updated at any time if you're opening your store for multiple runs. I'll choose the on-demand option for my sample store, but if you're going to be fulfilling all orders at a specific date and time, then you'll want to configure that prior to opening up the store for sales. If you've already set up your shipping accounts and methods in the admin portal, then you can click Yes and choose from those shipping options here. If you haven't had a chance to set up your shipping options yet, please reach out to support for help or visit our shipping help guides at help.inksoft.com. If you don't wish to offer shipping in your store, or you don't have shipping options available yet, then choose No. You'll be prompted to set up a pickup option on the next step. If you do want to offer a pickup option in your store, you'll choose Yes and Next. And you can then begin setting up that pickup option here. Pickup options will always be configured at the store level. No need to head back to the admin portal for this. For my pickup option, I'll give it a location name. I can also use the Pickup Details/Instructions area to add more info for my customers if needed. This would be a good place to add business hours, for example, if they're picking up from my shop. Below that, I can choose the pickup availability for my customers. I can set this to on demand so they can come pick up any time after the order has been processed. For this, I'll also need to configure the number of business days I need for processing time. If I need customers to pick up their order at a specific date and time, then I can set that up instead. I can even choose a date range. The other option is No Pickup Date. In this case, there are no processing days to inform the customer when their order might be ready, and there is no date and time to reference either. This means that if I choose this option, then it's up to me to make sure that I notify my customers via email to let them know when their orders are ready for pickup. This is something I would do later in the Order Manager. I'll leave mine set to On Demand and with 7 business days for processing time. If you need to provide an address for where customers are picking up their order, then you can fill that out here. You can also choose to turn this off. The only requirement then would be to add a taxable zip code. I'll leave the address turned off for my pickup option, and then enter my taxable zip code and click Create. My pickup option is now complete. I can also add more than one pickup location option, or go back and edit existing pickup options if needed. Before we move on to the next step, there's one important thing to remember about stores and shipping or pickup options. Every store needs at least one shipping option or one pickup option, or both, in order to require that customers pay for their orders. If you choose to not include any shipping or pickup options in your store, you can still successfully build the store and make it available to your customers, but payments in the store will automatically be set to disabled. Disabling payment means customers can still place orders, but they will have no option to pay for their orders, since they have no way of knowing how they'll be getting their orders. You'll see a message explaining this if you choose No for both shipping and pickup here in the Store Builder. Remember that you can always add these options later, but don't forget to configure them in your store before you begin taking orders. Otherwise, you'll have orders coming through with no payment. This brings us to the next setting, which is configuring the checkout in the store. As long as you have a payment processor configured on your account, and you have shipping or pickup, or both, set up in the store, then you'll be able to set the customer payment to required. The other choice is making payment optional, which means that customers can choose to either pay at the time of checkout, or they can choose to arrange payment later. In this case, you would have the option to capture payment on the order after the fact. If you need to accept purchase orders as a form of payment, there are options to configure this as well. The final checkout settings option will be to allow or not allow customers to add gift messages to their orders. If you've configured your checkout settings in a specific way, and you'd like to save those settings as defaults for other stores you build, you can check this box here. You'll see this option on some other store builder steps as well. The next step is asking if I'll need to capture more information from my customers at the time of checkout. This is accomplished by way of custom checkout fields. By default, InkSoft stores will always automatically capture the customer's name and email address when they go to place their order. This is captured even if the customer is checking out as a guest and has not created a user account. If the only option in the store is a pickup and you are not requiring payment, then our system will of course not capture the customer's info via billing or shipping address. But even in this scenario, you would still get their name and email address for the order. However, if you need to gather more information from them on the order, like a phone number or a company name for example, you can create these as custom checkout fields for them to fill out. These can be configured as text entry or multiple choice, and you can also make them required or optional for customers. If you're not sure that you need these for your store initially, you can always choose no for now and come back to them later if necessary. I'll choose no for my store. Next are stored notifications. InkSoft can send you email notifications so you know how the store is doing. There are options here for daily emails regarding orders. You can choose to get an email every time an order is placed. And you can also get notified regarding shipments and contact us requests. If you're building a store for a client and they need some of these same notifications, or if you need other members of your team to be in the loop, you can click here to add as many email addresses as necessary. By default, you can see that my email address has already been added, and the daily order summary notification has been checked. I'll leave it like this on my store for now. Next are social media options. If you'd like to provide your customers with social media buttons so they can share your store on Facebook, Twitter, and more, then you'll want to leave this switch turned on. If you'd like to provide links to your own social media accounts, then you can add the information for those accounts here. These will show as icons in the store's footer for your customers to click on. You'll definitely want to take advantage of these social media features so your store has better marketing and promotion options available. So please reach out to us in support if you need help or have any questions on this. Next, I'll need to configure my store policies. This will include things like a privacy policy and a thank you message my customers will see when they place their orders. Luckily, InkSoft already provides some default standard info for all of these, but feel free to edit them and make changes if necessary. I'll leave mine as is and continue to the next step. Every InkSoft store will automatically receive the standard internal web address that begins with stores.inksoft.com. You can leave this as the default address and use that for the public with no problem. The stores.inksoft.com address is also secure by default, so your customers will have no issue when placing orders in your stores. However, you can choose to use a custom domain for your store's web address instead of the built-in stores.inksoft.com name. InkSoft doesn't sell custom domains, but if you've purchased a custom domain from GoDaddy or any other domain name registrar company available on the web, then that custom domain can be assigned to any of your InkSoft stores. If you've already configured your custom domain to point to InkSoft properly, then you can choose Yes for this store builder step and add it to your store early on. Keep in mind, however, that there are specific steps that need to be followed in order to properly configure your domain on the host provider side, and those steps are not outlined here. If you need help configuring your domain properly, you can reach out to support so they can walk you through the process. Or we can choose No at this time, and more detailed configuration steps for setting up your domain will be made available when we revisit this setting again later. I'll choose No for my store and continue. My store setup is now complete. I'm provided with the web address for the store, and I can also click on the Go to Store button to see the store right away. Let's take a look at it. The store isn't quite finished, of course, but it is now live and on the web. I don't really need to worry about customers finding it online, however, since they would still need the store's web address in order to visit the site. So now that the store has been established, let's talk about the admin toolbar that appears at the top. This toolbar will only appear if I'm signed into the store with my admin account, which I am. My customers will not see this admin bar. In the top left corner, there's a menu icon. This will give me access to the dashboard back in the admin portal, and I can also get to my products and other parts of the platform. Let's actually head back to the dashboard for a moment. If I need to access any of my online stores, there are a few different ways to get there. Here in the dashboard area, I can look below and see my stores here. Clicking on the name of my store will take me back to the storefront. At the top of the admin portal, I can click on this drop-down to also see the stores I have, and I can click on the store name here to go to the storefront as well. In the navigation menu of the admin portal, there is a drop-down called Web Stores. This is also a place where I can get to all my stores. It even lets me manage my stores, and I can click Create New to start building a new store. However, this Web Stores drop-down menu is now considered legacy, and there is actually a new place to manage my stores. This new section is simply called Stores, and it's located in the InkSoft Core drop-down menu. Let's take a look at it now. Here I can see any active or inactive stores I have, and I can also see any pending stores that are in the process of being built. If I click on the name of my store, I can go directly to the storefront. In the top right corner, I can click here to start building a new store. And if I click on the three-dot options icon next to the store I want, I have other actions I can take, including deleting a store or even making a copy of a store. We can head back to the storefront for my new store now. I just wanted to show you all the different ways you can access your stores in the platform and what options are available for stores in the new Stores section. Now that we're back in my store, we can finish taking a look at the different admin tools available at the top. Clicking here will let me get to the other stores I have, and I also have yet another way to begin creating a new store quickly. Next, we have Storefront, Store Admin, and Style Editor. Storefront is the default view for your store whenever you're not building products or editing the store. You'll always exit to the storefront view from any other admin area in the store, and it's where you go whenever you want to see where your storefront currently looks like to the public. Next is Store Admin. Store Admin is where we build pre-decorated products for the store, manage artwork that we use to build those pre-decorated products, and it's where we can access all of the store's settings as well. Let's take a look at the store settings now. As we start looking through the list of store settings, you'll notice that most of these are the same settings we went through when we were first building my store in the Store Builder. This is where I need to go if I ever want to go back and make edits or changes to any of those settings. You'll notice, however, that some of these settings were not an option when I was first building the store. Some of these will only appear after the store has been established. These are settings for things like product display options, setting up a store is closed page for when it's needed, configuring a store commission, and more. And if we take a look at the settings that were already configured in the Store Builder, you'll also see that some of them now display more information here that wasn't available while we were building the store. For example, if I say yes to the Custom Domain option now, you can see that I have more complete and detailed instructions as to how I would go about setting this up. This is why I recommended saying no for this option during the store building process, and why it's a good idea to say yes later if this is needed for the store. Feel free to revisit these store settings on your own store whenever you need to, and please make sure to reach out to us in support if you have any questions about them. We'll help you make sure your store is configured to fit your needs. Before we look at how to build pre-decorated products or managing product artwork, let's first jump over to the Style Editor view. Style Editor is where I go to edit what my store looks like, and it's also where I go to add and manage a lot of other content I might want in my store. Things like custom banners, choosing featured products, adding fundraiser functionality, and more. Everything you see in an InkSoft store lives within a module, or what we call components. When you first build a store, it comes with only 3 of these components by default. While I'm in the Style Editor, you can clearly see these 3 outlined components as I hover over each one on my storefront. At the top, we have a header component. Below that, we have a featured products component. And at the bottom, we have a footer component. Every store requires a header and a footer, but all other components are optional. You can see that only my featured products component has a delete option when I hover over it. You'll also see that all components will have some edit options available for them. These options are of course specific to their components and are generally different for each one. To begin making edits to my header, for example, I'll hover over my header and then click Edit here. Once I click Edit, you can now see header-specific options in the sidebar on the left. Here I can choose different layouts for my header. I can pick a background color for my header. I can choose which links will display in my header and what they're called. And I even have an option of uploading a store logo here as an override to the store setting I configured earlier. The advantage of uploading a store logo here is that I'll be able to then resize my logo if needed. Once I'm happy with any edits or changes I've made, I'll need to make sure I click Save and Publish, or I can click Discard Changes if I change my mind. I'll click Save and Publish for these changes. Now let's take a look at the footer options. We'll come back to the Featured Products component later. For the footer, I also have the options of changing the layout style, the background color, and choosing which links to display. You can see that for the background color options, my store logo colors are automatically sampled, and I also see other colors that may already be in use in my store. This makes it very easy for me to quickly choose the same colors for multiple areas and come up with a cohesive color scheme for my store. I'll choose Save and Publish again for my new changes. There are a few overall style settings for the store in general that are not component specific. To get to these settings, simply exit the options for the component you are currently editing by clicking on this back arrow. Whenever you're not editing a specific component, you'll always see this Style Options menu in the left sidebar. Here you can configure an overall store background color, store buttons color and accent color, and font options for the store. There's even an option here to build custom pages for your store if needed. Just like any other edits or changes, you'll want to make sure you save and publish when you're done in order to save your work. Now I want to exit the Style Editor and head back to the storefront. This will allow me to see what my changes look like outside of any edit mode. To head back to storefront, I'll click on this back arrow next to the store name. Now I can see the store the way my customers would, so I can tell if I'm on the right track with my store design so far. Going back to the Style Editor and my components, we've only looked at a couple of them so far. So how do I access more store components? As long as I'm in the Style Editor view, I should always see this big blue button with the plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner of the page. Clicking here will bring up a sidebar on the right, showing me all of the other store components available for me to choose from. I immediately see a visual list of the different component types available. Some of these components have different layout options as well, so this list will let me see all of those options at a glance. Up top, I can also click on All Components to look through the list by name only. And once I pick a component, I'll be able to see examples of the layout options it might have. To add a component to the storefront, simply click on that component. I'll add one of these countdown components to my store. Newly added components will automatically show up at the bottom of the store's homepage, right above the footer. However, in addition to deleting that component, I can also choose to reorder that component and move it to the top of my page right below the header. When I'm ready to start editing my component, I can click on Edit and then navigate to the settings on the left. Here, I can again change the layout option, set a background color, and of course, enter the countdown title and description. Finally, I'll need to manage the end date for my countdown. I can choose the date, time, and time zone. And once the countdown ends, I can choose to automatically have the component removed altogether, or I can have it automatically close my store. If I choose this option, I can set up an email notification so I'm reminded when my store has closed. There are of course lots of other components to choose from, and many of them allow more than one of the same kind to be added to a store. So if I need multiple banners, or multiple groupings of featured products on my homepage, I can absolutely do this, and then place them all in the order that best fits the store need. Here are some demo stores that were built in the platform, and you can see various components being used in different ways. InkSoft stores can be utilized for many different types of organizations or events, such as spiritware stores, corporate stores, and fundraisers, to name a few. These are just some examples of store types you can offer to your clients. You can visit all of these demo stores for ideas and inspiration at www.customonline.store/showcase. And to learn more about components and how to best utilize them in your store, visit help.inksoft.com or contact our support team if you have questions. We'll provide links in the video description to both the demo stores and the store's help guides for you as well. Going back to my store, I now have a header, I've added a countdown component, and I've got my footer set up as well. However, I don't yet have any products built for my store. This is going to be an employee merch store, so I need to build various pre-decorated products that will feature the InkSoft logo and the InkSoft symbol designs. For this, we're going to head back to the store admin area, and the default section that displays first is Store Products. You can see that I don't have any active products yet, but we're going to take care of that now by clicking on Create New. This takes us into what we call the Rapid Product Creator, or RPC for short. The intention here is that I'm able to quickly and easily create pre-decorated products to sell in my store, instead of manually creating mocked-up images of those decorated products outside of InkSoft first. As long as I have blank products available in my InkSoft product library, then I can browse and choose from those products in order to create pre-decorated versions of them here. Once I choose my product, the next step is to choose the product colors I need. I can do this here by clicking on Add Color. I'll just select the ash color for now and click Done. Now I can choose from the available sides and print regions for decoration. I'll start with the full front area. To the right, I can click on either upload option to start uploading the artwork I want for the t-shirt. I'm then prompted to either upload standard print files, or there's an option to upload embroidery files as well. We'll talk about this option a little later in the video. For now, I'll upload some standard print files. Supported file types for this include SVG, PNG, and more. I'll upload some PNG files I have on my computer. After uploading my files, there's a message that says Colorways not supported. Colorways is one of the best features of the RPC, and I'll tell you more about it in a moment. I can still continue with my PNG files for now by clicking Done. Now I have my two art files showing in the Active Store Art section, and to begin decorating the product, I just click on one of my designs. You can see that the InkSoft symbol shows up on the product immediately, and I can now start moving and resizing it as needed. I can do this by dragging the design and using the buttons that appear on it. Additionally, I have some tools to the right that can also be used to position and resize the art incrementally. When I'm happy with the decoration, I can switch the product side to decorate another area if I want to. For this t-shirt, I'm only going to decorate the front. At this point, I've decided that I do want to add more product color options to the t-shirt. I'll add black and white. Once I've added the colors, I can hover over them to see what my design looks like on each one. The logo looks pretty good on the ash and white colors of the t-shirt, but on the black, the dark gray color in my art gets a bit lost. This is where Colorways can really save the day. Colorways allows users to create multiple color variations of their artwork so that different versions of that design can be placed on different colors of the same product. As long as you upload vector files in the RPC, you'll be able to take advantage of the Colorways feature. To show you how this works, I'll go ahead and remove my PNG files and upload some vector files instead. Supported vector files would be SVGs or PDFs. I'll upload some SVG files from my computer. You'll notice that these files don't show the Colorways not supported message after upload. I'll click Done and continue to the next step. Once I'm happy with the size and placement of the art, I'll take a look at my file on the right again. This time, I get an option to view colorways for that design. I don't have any colorways yet, but I can click Create New Colorway to make my first one. Since this is a vector file, the RPC automatically sees all of the colors in my art, and I can choose to change any of my colors to something else. For example, I'll go ahead and create an all-white version of the design first. When I'm done, I'll click Save Colorway. Now I have my original design and colorway number 1. I'll create another one, this time all dark gray. You can create as many colorways as you need. Now I have 3 versions of my design: full color, all white, and all black. I can now place different color variations of my design on different colors of my product. To do this, I'll click on the first product color on the left to select it. Then I'll click the option I want to the right. I'm going to use the full color option of my design for the ash color of the product. And then, of course, the all white design for the black, and the all black for the white. It's that simple. Now my customer can choose from these different color options for the same product. Next, we'll take a look at finishing this RPC product. I'll click Create Product. You can see that this takes me back to the first step of the RPC, so I can immediately start creating more products. RPC lets you start multiple products at the same time. This is so you can take care of the decoration process for your products and get that step finished quickly. However, we don't recommend starting more than 4 or 5 products at the same time. This is because the products you've started in the RPC aren't quite finished or saved at this point, so it's best practice to only work on a handful of products at a time. If we look at the top area in my RPC, we can view the 2 products I've started. Here I can view the color options for my products. And I can also choose to delete the products. But I want to keep these products and finish configuring them so they're saved in my store. So I'm going to click Next, Product Details. Here I can see more information from my products. Now, keep in mind that while these decorated products were created from their blank counterparts, these RPC products are now copies of the blanks and completely separate SKUs as far as InkSoft is concerned. This means that a lot of the information for my RPC products can be different from the blank products if I wish. For example, you can see that my RPC products are automatically given the product name that was associated with the blank versions. But these are now pre-decorated products with specific designs that I want to sell in my store. So I can change their names to something simple and more appropriate for what I want my customers to see. If I'm offering multiple color options for my products, I can choose which color the customer will see first by default. All products in InkSoft must have unique product SKUs, so the system will assign RPC products a new SKU that reflects the original product SKU along with a randomly generated ID number listed after it. You can leave these automated SKUs in place, of course, but I usually like to customize them so I can better identify these products for later use in other parts of the platform. I'll leave the original SKU for my products, but I'll replace the ID number with something that makes more sense to me. After that, it's time to give my products the base selling price in my store. If my products have plus size options, then I can click here to enter those upcharges as override prices for them. Finally, there is an option to click Edit and go back to the decoration stage of the RPC if I need to. However, keep in mind that going back to this stage now would require me to re-enter these product details. It's better to click Finish so I can save my products and all of the info I have so far, and I can still go back and edit the art or anything else I need afterwards. Now that my products are saved, they automatically show up in my Store Products section under the Active Products list. If I need to go and create more products, I can click Create New again here to enter the RPC. Add Existing is an option that will let you add legacy pre-decorated products. Legacy pre-decorated products are not built in the RPC and are instead created manually in the admin portal. If you'd like to learn more about this option to see if this is a feature you might need, please visit our product help guides at help.inksoft.com or reach out to our support team for questions. So now that my 2 RPC products are saved, we can take a look at more configurations and options for them. For starters, you can see that while my blank products were categorized, my RPC products are not. This is by design, since I might sometimes want to choose different categories for products in my stores. For example, all of my blank products were assigned to specific product subcategories to show men's, ladies, or youth options. But I'm not going to have very many products in this store, so I won't need to be that specific with my categories. In fact, that's already been taken care of with my product titles, so I'm just going to assign these 2 products to T-shirts in general. If you're working with lots of active products in your stores, there are some bulk options available for them here. Select the products you want, and click on the 3-dot Options button in blue. I have several options listed here, including product categorization. Now let's take a look at more edit options for individual RPC products. To edit an RPC product, click the three-dot options button to the right of the product. Other options are listed here too, but we're going to jump into the Edit Product view. This will take us into an area that is very similar to the Edit Product views for a blank product in the admin portal. However, all of these options are specific to RPC products. The General tab will again let me change the default color for my RPC product if I have more than one option. If I have multiple sides with designs for my product, I can choose which one will show first as the default side by dragging and dropping. If my product only has some sides with decoration and other sides are blank but still showing, I can also choose to turn those sides off. Below that, we have the product details. I can update the product name again if I need to. I can edit the product description, and I can make changes to other areas like store search tags, product SKU, and category as well. Things like manufacturer name, manufacturer SKU, and supplier name are locked, of course, as they are pieces of info that come from the blank version of the product that should not be changed. Likewise, the sizes that were originally configured for the blank version of the product cannot be altered here, and new size options cannot be created directly on the RPC product either. However, I can still choose to rearrange the sizes. I can turn a size off by deactivating all of the colors or styles for that size. And I can also update the size weights if needed. The last option here is to upload a custom size chart image for the product. And I can also give the size chart link on the product page a custom name. Just like edit mode for blank products, you'll want to make sure you save any changes to RPC products regularly as well. I can do that for my product by clicking on Save and Publish. The next tab over lets me configure personalization options for my RPC product. If the design on my product allows for the personalization of a name, number, or any other piece of information, I can create those options here. I'll click Add Custom Field, and I can start setting up my first personalization option. I can fill out the field label with Name, for example. And I can add optional instructions for the customer to further describe the option if needed. I also have some formatting options. And I can set character count limits too. Below, I can see a preview of what the customer would see in the store. If I need to charge an extra fee for this personalization option, I can enter that amount here. But I can only do this if I leave this personalization as optional. If I need to make it required, then I'm not able to charge for it here. If there is an additional cost associated with personalization and it's required for the product, then I'd have to include that extra cost in the price of the product. Finally, I can choose to make the personalization option text entry or multiple choice. The multiple choice option is great if I'd like to set up fixed choices for my customers. This can serve many purposes and can help reduce potential errors that come with a text entry option. When I'm done, I can click Create to save this first personalization field. Each RPC product can have up to 5 unique personalization fields available, and if needed, personalization can be created in bulk and applied to many products at once. This would be done in the main active products list in the store. Next, we have pricing and styles. Here I can again update the base price for my RPC product if needed. I also have some inventory options and a quantity discount setting. If I need to edit more specific prices and options for individual styles and sizes, I can do that here in the Product Styles section. This is also where I would set a sale price for the product, enforce minimums per color, and more. If the design for the product needs to be updated or switched out completely with something else, I can do that here too. Clicking on Edit Design and Styles will take me back to step 2 of the RPC, where I can make all the updates I want to the decoration for the product. This also lets me update the product colors as well. When I'm ready, I can either click Apply Changes or I can click Cancel to leave the product as is. I can edit design and styles on any RPC product as many times as I need to, but only if the product has not been purchased in the store. Once the product has been purchased, the option to edit design and styles will be disabled. This is intentional so as not to cause any problems or confusion later in the system when fulfilling orders with the product. Order Manager, Reporting Tools, and the Production Manager would be affected for something like this, so you'll need to instead recreate the product if the design or art needs to change. For a scenario like this, the Clone Product feature would work very well. You can make a clone of the product that has been sold, for example. Then the clone can be updated with new artwork or whatever else you need. The clone is the new product you would start selling in the store, and the original product can then be made inactive in the store. Going back to the edit mode for my RPC product, the last section contains some advanced options. This area will let me set up a custom processing time for the product. I can set overall minimums for the product. I can configure some custom SEO information, and I also have some tax options I can configure. The Advanced section will also give you access to the optional ShopWorks integration settings, the Google Product Feed settings, and the GTIN/UPC information for the product. Please visit our help guides for more info on these advanced settings. When you're done editing an RPC product, click the back arrow next to the product name. This will take you back to the list of active store products. Before we move on to the Store Art section, let's go back and talk about that embroidery option we saw earlier in the RPC. Back in the admin portal, under the Pricing menu, there's a Pricing Options section. This will allow us to get to the printing capabilities configuration for the InkSoft account. These settings will be covered in more detail in another webinar, but I wanted to bring your attention to the embroidery checkbox specifically. You'll want to make sure this is enabled if you wish to create and sell pre-decorated embroidery products in your stores. In addition to this setting, you'll notice that your blank products also have an embroidery option you can enable when you enter Edit mode and look in the Printing Capabilities section of the General tab. Make sure this is enabled on all of the products you wish to allow for embroidery designs in the RPC. Once those products have embroidery enabled, we can now create an RPC product with an embroidery file. Let's take a quick look at this. I'm back in the RPC and I have a product selected. When I go to upload another art file, this time I'll choose an embroidery file. InkSoft supports .dst embroidery files. Once I've chosen my file and it starts the upload, I'm immediately taken to the color mapping step. I first need to assign specific colors to the embroidery file before I can use it to decorate my product. When I click Select Color, I'm presented with a few options. InkSoft comes with some thread libraries to choose from for the colors, so I can be as accurate as possible for how that embroidery design will be produced. Alternatively, I can also choose from the default ink palette in my account, or I can just choose a custom color from the color picker. Once I'm done assigning all of the colors to my embroidery file, I can click Upload. The embroidery design now appears on my active store art list, and I can decorate my product with that design. Embroidery files will also let you take advantage of the Colorways feature, so you can create as many color variations for your embroidery design as you need. The rest of the RPC product process and the end result for this product is still the same. This is still a pre-decorated product I'll be selling as is in my store. However, when my customers view the product details and they zoom in on the design, this particular product will show off the stitching details of the artwork, so they can clearly see what the final embroidered product would look like. This adds a nice touch and is a much better presentation for embroidery than if I were to just use a flat art file instead. And that's a quick look at the embroidery option in InkSoft. Please contact our support team if you need any help with this or have any further questions regarding embroidery. Now let's take a look at the Store Art section of the Store Admin area. As I'm uploading art files in the RPC to decorate my products, those files also show up here in Store Art and can be further managed. In fact, art files can be uploaded here first if I want, and then those will be the art files I'll have to choose from within the RPC. If I need to delete files, I can do that here. If I need to manage colorways or create new ones from my designs, I can do that here as well. And I can even choose to download these designs and their colorways to the workstation I'm currently using if needed. The Store Art section just allows me to better organize which art files I'll be working with for my store products. And these art files now live in my store, so any other admin on my team can access the same files if they need to use RPC to build products for this store as well. The last thing we'll talk about in this webinar is how customers will be viewing and accessing the RPC products in the store. Let's take a quick look at my storefront. Even though I now have active products in my store, we still don't see them on my home page. You can see that my featured products component is empty. We'll take care of that in the style editor shortly. But if we look at my header, there's also a built-in link called Products. This is a link to my store's product catalog. If I hover over the link, I can see a list of product categories, or I can click on View All Products. Either way, this will take my customers to all of the products I have in the store so far. From here, customers can continue to browse by product category on the left, and they can also search for products. At a glance, customers can see some basic product details and the color options available. To see more product details, they can click on the product. This will take them to the product details page, where they can view the design more closely, read the product description, and they can start choosing their product options to then add that item to their shopping cart. So that's the store product catalog, and the default page my products will be viewed and accessed. But what if I want to show products on my homepage as well? That's where the Featured Products component comes in. If I head to the Style Editor, I can hover over the Featured Products component, and I have a Manage Products option next to the Edit button. The Manage Products option will show me all of the products I have in my store so far, and I can now choose which ones I want to feature on my homepage. I only have 3 products in my store right now, but if I end up building 25 or 30 products total in the end, I can choose to just feature some of them on my homepage, and then customers can view the rest via the product catalog. Edit options for the Featured Products component will let me change the layout so I can have my product show up in a 1, 2, 3, or 4 column layout. I can change the background color for the component, and I can also choose to give my component a custom heading and subheading. Another option here is to add a button to the component, and the purpose of this button is to take the customer to a specific category of products in my store. This way, if I have 20 t-shirts in my store, but I'm only featuring 3 on the homepage, I can give customers another quick way to access all of the t-shirts in my store. Finally, there are settings here to hide the color options as well as the prices for the products. Customers will still see the color options and the product price when viewing the product details page, but this way I can keep the homepage view for the products simple and clean. As always, I'll make sure to click Save and Publish if I'm happy with my changes. To wrap up this webinar, I'll show you one more settings area that relates to the store products. Back in the store admin area, I'll head on over to my store settings. There's a setting here called Product Display Settings. This will provide me with yet more options to hide certain product info, like the manufacturer and SKU. And for my product catalog, I can choose how my products will be sorted by default. Another option is to show available inventory. If you're enforcing inventory on your products, you can choose to show customers what quantities you have in stock for those products. This can come in handy if you'd like customers to see when quantities are low and perhaps provide a sense of urgency when ordering. It'll also tell them when an item is out of stock. Okay, let's take one last look at my storefront so far. Everything looks pretty good. I need to keep building more products, of course, and I can always add banner images and other components to my store to spruce things up even more. But you can see that even with just some basic components, quick design choices, and a few products on the homepage, it doesn't take much to build a great-looking e-commerce store in InkSoft. With the Store Builder, Style Editor, and RPC tool, it's also a pretty intuitive and straightforward process. Well, that about does it for this training webinar. InkSoft stores are fast and easy to build, and they look great. You can offer more products and can reach more people with an online presence. And with automated order entry, there are no more paper order forms or chasing down payments. Your clients get the modern e-commerce experience and your sales go up. Again, if you have questions or need any help with your stores and products, please visit our help guides at help.inksoft.com or contact our friendly support team. They'll be happy to assist you with anything you need to build successful stores. Thank you for watching and have a great day.